Recording in progress.
Welcome in the latest episode of the Betting the Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, real_G Warner, across Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. I am sick as a dog right now, but trying to get a podcast out, even though it's late Friday night. Figured that tonight's the night because we got a big weekend of football in front of us, and going to do our best to get through five top soccer leagues: England, Spain, Italy, France, and Germany. And we'll be putting out some best bets and all these sort of things. Patreon.com/real_G Warner if you want the whole card that I'm looking at overnight, and we'll update throughout the day. Download the app, turn on your notifications, and every time I lock into play, you get a buzz. I shoot for 10 minutes at a minimum before matches. That's what I'm trying to stick to. It's a little bit hard in an office on weekdays, but weekends are a lot easier. And I'm trying to get as many write-ups done overnight so you know what I'm thinking, and maybe you can make your own calls once you see lineups, because that's a big deal in this sport. The ultimate best bet record, we're 10-4-1, 71% so far year to date. I am like rushing to try to catch up on matches. I'm still a little bit behind, to say the least, but I feel like that has been off. We got off to a really good start, hitting about 56% so far from what I've watched this season. As I wipe my nose because this is horrible. I'm sorry if anyone's listening and this sounds way more nasally or worse than normal. If I sound better, then I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But please hit me in the feedbacks. 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify really help. Plus, subscriptions on YouTube. We've gotten a bunch more subscribers to YouTube at the real_G Warner. Plus, also the Reels have been getting some hits too on Instagram at the real_G Warner. So the Instagram and the YouTube Shorts, they're going to have the 30-second or so video with my best bet from this episode. Expect those to be posted hopefully before game time. That's my goal. But the gems are in the podcast when you listen to all what I'm covering, because I'm going through literally every match I can think of. And thanks to those of you that are here live. If we hear the audio go out, please shout and I will try to fix it. We still haven't any complaints on the full episode, so I guess Zoom is a little bit more able to withstand these problems than StreamYard. But anyway, it's now time to get into it. So let's start in England because that's where the money is. And we'll start with Tottenham Hotspur, a pick'em at home to Manchester United. All the juice on United totals 2.75, juiced all the way to over. So Tottenham have not been getting much respect from the marketplace for a long time now. And Manchester United, they always get respect no matter how poor they are. But a win streak certainly helped turn their favor, though. Finished the Brighton match tonight, and just the amount of ridiculous goals and fortunate calls they got from the referees were pretty insane. And I'm just not really a believer. Maybe I'm stubborn. Call me that if you'd like. But Tottenham as a home underdog to Manchester United is certainly where I'm looking. Manchester United not playing this weekend or this midweek certainly helps. Why Tottenham had Champions League, but still, I'm not a believer. And I don't know that I have a feel for the total. I still feel like Thomas Frank is an over coach. That doesn't work very well because I want unders Manchester United, and I'm not an over player. Sorry, Joe Dollar, longtime Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/real_G Warner. But Tottenham pick'em. I would love to see them a quarter goal underdog when I wake up really early tomorrow morning, probably because I won't be able to breathe all night. Next, move to the big onslaught slate of English Premier League matches. We'll start with Everton, quarter goal favorites at home to Fulham. Total is 2.25, juiced very heavily to over right now based on BetOnline, 16-cent juice. Hard to beat that. If you're looking for a referral, please slide in my DMs at the real_G Warner across any social media outlet, and I will try to get you in there. Long-time quoting lines, courtesy of BetOnline the entire time I've been doing these podcasts, but they were sponsored the show years ago, so thank you to them. Fulham are a pretty cheap underdog here. I think they have not really played well enough, or the results have not suggested that they deserve this, though it certainly speaks to Everton as a goal-shy favorite. So that certainly makes me lean under. I think anytime Everton's involved, I want to play under. Fulham are still of interest to me, though. I think they deserve better than what the results show so far this season. And Marco Silva, I think, is a very good manager. So especially as an underdog, keeps Fulham up every year. And I expect that same thing to happen again this year. So under and underdog for me in that one. West Ham United then hosts Burnley. Currently West Ham a half a goal favorite at home, a little bit more juice. Totals 2.5, juiced all the way to under. Not really afraid this one's falling to 2.25. Would want to make sure I get Burnley as a half a goal underdog. So when they go on the road and draw goalless, that you win a full bet. Don't really see a Burnley upset win on the road, but West Ham United is a half a goal favorite is an auto fade for me at this point. versus any team in their same division. Could probably honestly argue in an FA Cup or Carabao Cup. That's something worth looking at as well. Burnley don't have a lot of goals in them, so certainly want to play under as well with that side, just in case West Ham's get a lucky goal and win 1-0. But I'm taking those chances this year, trying to get have a little bit of a safety by playing both under and underdog. And then if you lose 1-0, you end up splitting. And juice is certainly important in this sport, but I'm certainly willing to take it under 2.25 for plus money. And if that wins versus the under 2.5 at a very juice minus 120 at Bet Online, then you end up coming out a few dollars ahead every time. And you roll that over entire season. And hopefully that's a good news type of situation. And actually, while I say the onslaught of Saturday matches, we actually don't have that in England, just 2 in that normal 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. God's time in Texas window. So Sunderland's next. They are hosting Arsenal. Incredible start to the season. They've been a godsend moneymaker for sure. 1.25 goal underdogs is pretty sizable against Arsenal. Totals 2.5, juice all the way to under, and keeps getting more expensive. This should be falling to 2.25. And I was hoping for more on the total. But Arsenal are going to play really low-scoring games, as will Sunderland. Though I think Sunderland have proven they can score. They can hang. 1-1's a great result for under and for the side. 2-0 is not horrible, just kind of same type of reasoning I just gave out. I think Sunderland can win this match. I don't think that's likely. I think Arsenal, probably the biggest problem here is if Arsenal can't score, then one lucky Sunderland goal could be enough. But I think Arsenal only really get maybe 2 maximum here. Team totals minus 156 for the over 1.5. It's hard for me to want to advocate going against that, but I guess if I'm playing under and underdog, that certainly suggests that. So 1.25 goal underdog on Sunderland. I'll lean to under 2.5, 2.25. Not that big of a concern for me. As it lands 2, you still win. Lands 3, you still lose. Last on Saturday is Chelsea, 1.25 goal favorites. All the juice on that side at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Totals 2.75, juice all the way to over. And this is one I'm probably going to skip. Don't really believe in Wolves. Believe in Chelsea's scoring ability, so that's not good for for under. Good for Joe Dollars over for sure. But I just can't trust Wolves really defensively, offensively, any sort of way. And if you get blown out, bad things happen to any sort of bets you put out there. Moving to Sunday, Aston Villa, they are 1/4 goal favorites at home to Bournemouth. Totals 2.5, juice more to the over, more juice on the Bournemouth side. Aston Villa coming off Europa League midweek. Bournemouth not playing anything, but playing great football. And I'm forever going to look at them because Andoni Iraola is one of my favorite coaches, managers across all sports to bet. Lean to the 1/4 goal underdog, lean to under 2.5, as Aston Villa are not, to me, a great goal scoring team. They did score a bunch, but I'm just not really a believer that they can continue keeping that going. So Bournemouth and under, both interest to me. If Bournemouth fall to pick them, I'd probably skip it. I want the money if this lands on a draw, but I think Bournemouth could go to Villa Park and win. Next, we'll move to Brentford and Newcastle, same early 9 a.m. Eastern time start window, which looks like the onslaught for this weekend is Sunday, actually. Good for potentially me sleeping in, maybe not feeling like my head's going to explode. Brentford 1/4 goal underdogs at home to Newcastle. All the juice on Brentford, totals 2.75, juice all the way to under. Brentford looked great at home. Of course, the home win against Liverpool, against other big clubs as well. And they all need to draw at home, and they will cover the spread. Newcastle playing Champions League midweek. And then, of course, being a much different side away from home than they are at St. James's Park. All those things push or point to Brentford 1/4 goal underdog. I lean to the under 2.75 a little bit. It's very juice at the moment. Would love to get a 3, but that doesn't look likely. I think the home side is my biggest interest in that matchup. Crystal Palace then hosts Brighton. Currently Palace, a 1/4 goal favorite at home with more juice. Totals 2.75, juice 2 cents more to the over. Brighton, I thought, deserved a lot better. Great comeback, fight back at Manchester United, but they've kind of settled into a mid-tier table type of squad. I think the days of Europe seem to be past them, though they do get a fair amount of credit. And this price is pretty cheap to fade Crystal Palace at home, where they play such good football. I don't know necessarily if that's an interest for me. It probably is not, I must say. So I don't think there's much for me to do in this one because Brighton, they want to score goals. I guess, if anything, I'd back the Crystal Palace defense, not expecting much offensively, but Crystal Palace's offense has been very good this season. That's why they've been climbing up the table so far this year. Though, of course, playing in the Conference League midweek is not great for their energy levels. Still in the same onslaught of matches Sunday morning, we have Nottingham Forest 1/4 goal favorites at home to Leeds. Almost all the juice on Leeds right now. Totals 2.25, juice all the way to over. Nottingham Forest lucked I mean, I guess they deserved it despite not possessing the ball at all last season. But man, things have not gone well on their third manager. Brought in one of the most conservative guys out there. Not good as a favorite. Not good as a football manager unless you're really just trying to restrict goals. Which for that reason, I'm under 2-6. Excuse me, under 2.25 plus 106 a bet online. Like I was trying to say, that's very interesting. A lean to Leeds as a quarter goal underdog away from home. But if you're back in Leeds here, you're pretty much saying a newly promoted side is better than one that qualified for Europe. But things have changed. I mean, Nuno Espirito Santo is nowhere near a Nottingham Forest anymore. And I don't really hate the idea of fading them. Last but not least, the big one of the weekend, Manchester City, half a goal favorite at home with all the juice to Liverpool. Totals 3.25, juice more to the under. Liverpool are tough to back. I mean, Real Madrid midweek, Manchester City playing Dortmund and get to stay at home. All things that probably point towards a City direction. Liverpool, I mean, they've finally gone through some difficulties this season. They've been an auto fade, easy fade. I've been saying it on this podcast all the way to the last season that they are not really deserving of their incredible dominant Premier League campaign that won by leaps and bounds. But I think we might be starting to see some value in Liverpool. Yes, Man City is a great team, but they've not been the same type of quality they were a couple seasons ago. Liverpool as a half a goal underdog is something I can't really look away from. I generally think this is going to be a lower scoring match than everyone expects with the firepower on each side. So under 3.25 is a look, but I'll be waiting to see if we get to 3.5. I'm not sure there's a huge key number there. Yes, the bet would settle differently if it does get to 3.5 and the game lands 3. But I think I'm looking for a competitive match a lot because Liverpool needs to focus on their defense. And a lot of time the big top 6 clubs in England play really low scoring matches when they actually match up. For an ultimate best bet in England, before we head over to the Spanish La Liga is where we're going next. I'm going West Ham United Burnley under 2.5 goals. I'll pay to see 3 in that one. Moving now to La Liga in Spain. We'll start with Girona hosting Alaves, as I am muting tabs accidentally. Now hopefully unmuting him. Hopefully I didn't screw up all my video stuff. Let's check in, make sure the audios are right. No complaints right now in the StreamYard chat. Thank you to those of you that are here live. We'll start with Girona quarter goal favorites at home to Alaves. All the juice on Alaves away. Totals 2.25. Juiced all the way to under. So Girona with a horrible start to the season have improved, but I don't really believe it. Alaves are not really a goal scoring team, so it makes them really hard to back away from home. I think under 2.25 is my biggest interest in this one, but I'm also interested in Alaves potentially going on the road and winning this matchup. A 2-1 Alaves win would be really terrible for an underplay and great for a side. I don't know that I feel that strongly about it. Girona certainly have had some problems this year defending, but I think they will focus on that and try to make less of those mistakes going forward. Move next to Sevilla hosting Osasuna. Currently Sevilla quarter goal favorites with all the juice. Totals 2.25, juice more to the under. I just don't trust Osasuna away from home. Haven't for years of La Liga following. And Sevilla look pretty cheap to me. They're going to probably move to a half a goal favorite before kickoff. I don't think that I want much to do with a side here. I think only real thing I want to do or potentially could look at is under 2.25. And that would be based on a belief that Osasuna will go on the road and try to defend. They need to. I think I probably want to see no Ante Budimir in the club's leading scorer of all time. Want to make sure he's not in starting lineup because he's a goal threat, and I don't think Osasuna have many others. Maybe Victor Munoz, one of their younger new players, who's been getting a lot of restricted minutes to try to, I guess, save him for the future and not do the Pedri. I think under is the only way I could lean in that one. I'll move next to Atletico Madrid hosting Levante. Currently a 2-goal favorite are Atleti. All the juice on Levante away. Total is 3, just incredibly high to over. So that's probably a 3.25 across the marketplace. I was looking for a 2 on Levante. I wasn't sure we'd get it. That's about my interest, though I'm worried that they lose a lopsided match and makes me not want to touch the under either. Espanyol then hosts Villarreal, the nightcap on Saturday. Espanyol a pick'em now. They were a quarter goal underdog earlier. There probably are plenty of quarter goals expensive out there across the marketplace. Totals 2.75, juiced all the way to under. Villarreal coming off Champions League. We'll see how they bounce back in a La Liga match on the road in a tough Catalonian outfit. Or hosted by a tough Catalonian outfit. I think Espanyol are just forever on my list of teams I want to back. So I'll lean to the pick'em, like a quarter better, and I'll be waiting to see if Villarreal get bet. Moving to Sunday, Atletico Bilbao hosts Real Oviedo. Currently, Bilbao a 1-goal favorite. More juice on Oviedo away. Total is 2.25, and it's juiced very heavily to under right now, or at least looks like it's getting juiced more and more by the second. Athletic Club lost Iñaki Williams, the forever. I was going to say conquistador. That's probably not right, but Iñaki just forever. The Iron Man maybe is a better way to put it. I think Nico Williams, his being in and out of the lineup has certainly hurt Athletic Club so far this year. Got off to a perfect start, and it's really been horrible since then. Do I trust Oviedo to score goals? Probably not. So under is definitely on my list. I guess I lean to a full goal of insurance on the road team as well. But that would be a complete fade of Athletic Club. And I don't think that's a terrible idea. I think I'm probably more interested in under in that matchup. Rayo Vallecano then hosts Real Madrid. Currently, Rayo a 1.25 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Totals 3, juice more to the under. So Real Madrid, I've been betting against them all season. I'm not a believer in Xavi Alonso, no matter what's happened so far this year. I'm still a believer in Rayo. I love their setup. Andoni Iraola disciple is in charge, so forgive me that I've already waxed poetic on that. But Rayo can lose by a goal and still cover half of a bet right now. I like that, and I lean to under 3 because I think we see a low-scoring game. And I think we do potentially see Rayo getting on the board. Definitely threatens under, but I like a push on 3. And I certainly like that for the 1.25 goal underdog, as I feel like I'm about to sneeze. So I'm going to have to mute this. And of course, the sneeze is gone, and I look like an absolute fool. But anyway, we'll move next to Mallorca hosting Getafe. Currently, Mallorca 1/4 goal favorites at home. All the juice on Getafe away. Total in this one, 1.75, juice to the over. We're finally seeing tiny totals. We should have been seeing these, especially in Serie A, which we'll get to in Italy next. But yeah, La Liga, oh my God, there's some really low-scoring matches. They've done a better job of not giving away the penaltitos, the little penalties. That's been huge for my ROI, to say the least. Spain's been really kind to me so far this season. Getafe as a 1/4 goal underdog is certainly worth a look. I don't think I want them at Pick'em, and that's probably where the market is for most of these bets or most of these lines, odds across the marketplace. But BetOnline dealing currently a 1/4 goal underdog. And I'll be waiting because I don't play below under 2. I'll be waiting to see if this moves to 2, and I would love to play it. Might play it as soon as I see it. Valencia then hosts Real Betis. Currently, Valencia 1/4 goal underdog at home. More juice on Real Betis away. Totals 2.5, juice more to the over. Valencia have been, not getting any respect at home this season. Underdogs at home to Atletico Bilbao when they've been struggling. Underdogs at home to Villarreal in a rivalry matchup. Messiah's a legit place. Real Betis had Olympique de Lyonnais. Keep doing that. Olympique Lyonnais at home this midweek in Europa League. Valencia played nothing. So Valencia are certainly on my list as a 1/4 goal underdog, and I lean to under 2.5. Betis don't really play. They score goals, unfortunately, and they concede them. So that's difficult for me to play under 2.5. I probably like the side better in that one, actually. Celta de Vigo then hosts Barcelona. Currently, Celta 3/4 goal underdogs at home. More juice on Barca away. Totals 3.25, juice all the way to over. So Celta Vigo are trying to balance Europe and what used to be a really strong depth or team with a lot of depth have now lost a lot of that, sold a lot of it this summer, and they get Barca coming in, and that's going to be tough. But the line is pretty telling, falling below a full goal of insurance right now. Barca coming off Champions League midweek. Celta, of course, playing Europa League. That's worse, and they unfortunately played, I think, a day at least later. So that's not great. But the crowd will be big. There will be a lot of Barca fans there, of course, as there are everywhere. But Celta are interesting to me at 3/4 of a goal underdog. I think there's a lot of respect on that side of the number. And I think betting against Barcelona makes sense right now because it seems like Hansi Flick's high line has been discovered, figured out, and it's not really going well for him. For my best bet in Spain, I'll go Espanyol, a pick'em. Would certainly love to see a 1/4 goal come back before kickoff, but probably won't be part of the ultimate best bet. I'll give you that hint and the show. I want to check the chat to see if everyone's good. No comments about silence or mutedness, so good on that one. Hello? Yeah, okay. Just testing this to make sure the mute was working. Good. Didn't sneeze, so I guess no big deal for anyone, but you have to hear me sniffling. I'll move to Italy in Serie A. We have Lecce, a pick'em at home to Verona. Almost all the juice in Lecce right now. Total is 2, juice more to the under. How are these teams going to score? Lecce are not a goal-scoring team. Verona have really struggled themselves. Had a really big lead that they gave up 2-0 a couple weeks ago. Might have been weekends ago. It's really fun. I think Verona, though, as a quarter goal underdog, I'll play. I don't think we will get there, though, unfortunately. So I'll wait and see on that one. I'll lean to under 2 in that matchup. Como and Cagliari in the same time window. Como 1 goal favorites with all the juice totals 2.5, juice more to the over. It's a big price for Como to lay. I don't think they've been as strong this season. Sophomore slump, not really, because they still get a ton of love from the Serie A market. But to me, Cagliari are going to go on the road and try to keep it low scoring. I love getting a full goal of insurance for a team that's not playing in Europe, that hasn't been that strong this year. How do Cagliari score is a big question. I would love it at 1.25 compared to the +1, though the push on 1 is something I rarely get excited to pass on. So I'll lean to under 2.5 is the strongest one. I just don't know that I believe in Como the same way the market does or has for 2 seasons now. Juventus then host Torino in a battle of Torino or Turin, if you're looking for an English version. Juve are a 1-goal favorite with all the juice right now, almost. Total is 2.25, and it is juiced more to the over. I don't trust Torino to score. So 1-goal underdog away from home, that's hard, but again, it's really nice to have a full push on 1. Lean to under 2.25 is my stronger one, and that one is Juve look really lost and have all season. Parma then hosts AC Milan, as I wear a Cristiano Pulisic, as they say, in San Siro, which I guess will be gone soon. But Parma, 1-goal underdog at home with all the juice totals, 2.25, juice pretty heavily to over right now. Feels like a low total. Eventually, Massimiliano Allegri, when he's not strip teasing on the sideline, he will come back to his old stripes and play really low scoring games. Parma want that. They can't score. They've struggled to all season, and I think they will do their best to keep us as low scoring as possible. So I love the +1 right now. I probably need that full number to play it, and it's very juiced at the moment at BetOnline, but lean to under 2.25 in that matchup, and we might get 2.5 on that side. Or on that total, forgive me. Moving to Sunday, Atalanta hosting Sassuolo. Currently, Atalanta 1.25 goal favorites, almost all the juice on Sassuolo away. Totals 2.75, just more to the over. Sassuolo have been the most naive team coming up this season in Serie A, and they've become a lot more mature. They still have Domenico Berardi, who's one of the best creators, though he's certainly aged at this point in his career. I think I'm less interested in the Sassuolo side, but I'm interested in fading Atalanta because I don't believe they're going to score a lot of goals. They just haven't done it. Ivan Juric is not that type of manager. He loves 1-0s, and that would give you plenty of room for an under 2.75. So that's my strongest lean there. Genoa then hosts Fiorentina. Genoa, a surprising favorite at home. Crowd is helpful, but not going to put the ball in the net, I don't think. Fiorentina have struggled all season. Incredible comeback against somebody trailing 2-0 with a late goal and almost a late winner. The red card, I won't say it was Bologna. But there's been a bunch of matches since then, and the total in this one is 2. I just want to bet unders with Genoa because I don't trust them to score goals. I want Fiorentina to become a quarter goal underdog in order for me to play them, though. So I'll wait on that one. Next, we'll go to Bologna hosting Napoli, currently a pick'em. All the juice on Napoli away. Total is 2, juice pretty heavily to over, and I think this is the wrong favorite here. Napoli have been really fortunate to win a lot of their matches this year. Maybe their best game was against Inter, but really struggled against Lecce, gave up a penalty, and it was not scored by a 17-year-old. What a ridiculous decision that was to put him out there against Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, who's like the biggest assassin to penalties out there in the world. Bologna to pick them are enough for me. It's a quarter goal throughout the marketplace, so I'll lean that way. And the total at 2 is tiny. I think we're starting to see Conte ball come in. He added a lot of players, has a lot of depth now, but that's being tested by injury. And I just don't really see a lot of goals coming from Napoli. So don't like them as a road favorite, to say the least. Roma then hosts Udinese. Currently Roma 1-goal favorites. All the juice on Udine away. Totals 2.25, juice all the way to over. And I don't really believe this Gasperini side is ever going to score goals. Roma went from a defensive side that had some goals in it, but weren't scoring much. Gasperini comes in. You'd expect high-flying offense. We haven't really seen that. I don't know that I want to start getting on an under train because it's been chewing for a while and numbers pretty small, but I would like to see this climb to 2.5. So it lands 2, you win a full bet. That's probably my strongest lean. I don't really trust Udinese to score goals, so they've done more than I expected so far this season. To the nightcap, the top match in Calcio this weekend in Italia. We have Inter Milan, 1.5 goal favorites to Lazio. All the juice on Lazio away. Total is 2.75, juice almost all the way to over. Lazio have not gotten any respect so far this season. Transfer ban certainly impacted that. Inter have really struggled to start the season, played really well, and then took a really heavy loss and a difficult one against Napoli. But They've been great in Champions League. The problem is that they had Champions League this midweek and Lazio did not. I think the price is too big. Lazio getting a goal and a half is interesting, though they got blasted in this matchup last season, which is not something that I want to forget. I'll put that out there. For my best bet in the Italian Serie A, I'm going to go with Juve Torino under 2.25 goals. I think we see a low-scoring derby match, and we probably don't see a lot of goals. Now move to Ligue 1 in France. And let's make sure that there are no complaints about the sound. It doesn't look like it, but thank you for those of you that are joining live. Leave a 5-star review, all those sort of things. I should have done that on my other YouTube accounts. Yeah, so I'm going to do that now. Apologies. Might get a few more people into the feed live, which is kind of what I'm hoping for. And let's see. Try to make this muted. A few more people into the feed live, which is kind of what I'm hoping. There we go. All right, so it's working. Sound's doing well. I guess it's just kind of a sound check, but let's see if it keeps me muted. That would be nice. Oh, it does. Good. All right, we're just getting 1 million more likes with all the various YouTube channels I have connected. Yippee. Unliking now. That's not what we wanted. Sorry, a little bit of a gap in the middle of the show, but here we go. It's gonna fire us up for the last few sections. So we're gonna start in France. We'll start on Saturday with Marseille hosting Stade Brestois. Currently Marseille 1.25 goal favorite. All the juice on Brest away. Totals 2.75 juice all the way to over. So Marseille have been scoring goals, but they're gonna hit a wall balancing Champions League and Liga, a chase for the title. I don't think they can do both. I still crushed over the red card for a dive in the box that Emerson Palmieri took against Sporting Lisboa, but that was a while ago, so I probably should get over it. Lean to Stade Brestois, 1.25 goal underdogs, because I like the full goal of insurance. Though Marseille can certainly run riot on teams, and I don't like that, especially not in the Stade Orange Velodrome. Move next to Le Havre hosting Nantes. Currently Le Havre, a half a goal favorite with almost all the juice. Totals 2.25 juice, more to the under. Not have gotten no love so far this season. Kind of reflects how they've been in most seasons. The Canaries have been really good to my bankroll, I think. And Le Havre as a big favorite just doesn't compute to me. So I'll lean to half of a goal on the underdog and under 2.25. I think we see a low scoring there matchup there. We might even see a goalless draw, which is my favorite of all things in this world, goalless draws. I know it's really awful watching paint dry. That's the most profitable angle for me. Monaco then hosts Lens. Currently Monaco quarter goal favorites at home with all the juice. Total is 3. Juiced all the way to over, as unfortunately I'm drooling out of my nose. Horrible for anyone watching live. Apologies for that. Monaco quarter goal favorites with all the juice. Over is 3, juice all the way to over. So Lens is, one of the best teams back at home. I love their come from behind win against Marseille a few weeks ago. This is going to be a different battle, but Monaco coming off Champions League midweek certainly helps. Lean to Lens as a quarter goal underdog. Would love to get half. Don't really have much of a feel for the total, as Lens have been scoring way more than expected this season, and honestly, and last ever since Frank Hayes left for Nice. Moving to Sunday, Lorient hosts Toulouse. Currently, Lorient a pick'em. All the juice on Toulouse away. Total is 2.25, juice all the way to over. And Toulouse have gotten a lot of love this season. They played really well. Of course, when I grabbed them, they did not against Monaco, but I guess only conceding 1 to Monaco was still a win. That there wasn't. It was a loss, so I guess it was not a win by definition. But as a favorite away, that's where I feel like we're seeing some peak valuation. I'll wait to see Lorient if they move to a quarter goal underdog. Problem is they can't defend. They got a lot of respect at Angers on the road and lost. Might be one of those I skip. Football Club de Metz, then they host Nice. Currently Metz, a quarter goal underdog at home with more juice on Nice away. Totals 2.75. Juice is split actually in this one, so no real tell on which way we're moving. Metz have been on my card a lot. They've conceded a ton of late goals. That's not been good. They've certainly gotten blown out. But Nice have been so bad for a couple seasons now. I'm wondering if Frank Hayes hasn't been let go already, if that's going to happen. Lean to Metz. Don't really have a feel for the under, but Metz have not looked good. And their stellar goalkeeper came back and got stretchered off. So I feel like we're back to the backups, and that's not a good thing. Moving next to Angers, a pick'em with all the juice at home to Angers. Totals 2.25, juice all the way to under. So Angers have scored more than I always confuse them with Le Havre in Ligue 1, but Angers have not scored at all. It's part of why they were just a pick'em at home to Lorient, the worst defense in Ligue 1. Earlier this season, a couple weeks ago. I do like Angers as a home team. I don't want to lay any sort of quarter with them, so this is the max that I'm interested in. But I think we see a low-scoring game, plays the way Angers want to do it, and under 2.25 looks like it makes sense. Strasbourg then hosts Lille, currently both coming off of Europe midweek. Strasbourg, a pick'em, almost all the juice on Lille away, totals 2.75, juice more to the over. The BN Sports guy pregame was speculating that Bruno Genesio was going to lose his job, but he saved it because they only lost 4-3 to PAOK in Europa League instead of 4-0 where it was. Some of these, I mean, BN Sports, like, you got to do better, but clearly they only care about South American sports or something like that, or I guess technically they're some sort of Middle Eastern country, so I guess they care more about the Arabic broadcast. But the guys they throw out there in English speaking or whatever are a joke. With all that said, Strasbourg have a great home team, unrelated, I guess. Lean to them at home. Both these teams can score. Lille probably more than Strasbourg, which is probably why they're favored, but I'll wait to see Strasbourg move to a quarter goal underdog, and probably will play that on Sunday. Last but not least, Lyon host PSG. Currently Lyon 3/4 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Totals 2.75, just all the way to over. And we've seen PSG really struggle in Liga, which is surprisingly how I'm actually looking at potentially backing Lyon here. I think they can play a tight game. I certainly don't want to lose at 3/4 of the goal because you push on half your bet if they lose by a single goal at this price. It's probably not a great sign if I'm willing to jump off the home underdog at a half of a goal underdog, but I mean, I'm not necessarily that afraid of PSG, though they've been so good this season. Clearly, Champions League and defending that is the biggest priority for them. They know they're going to win Liga or feel comfortable in that. So, Lyon, the problem is they were a pretty big underdog on the road at Real Betis midweek and have just 2 days to prepare for this. So they're going to be gassed. I'm curious to see what lineup they put out because they did rotate a fair amount for Real Betis midweek. So that's a good sign. I'll lean to Lyon as 3/4 goal underdogs. I'm not sure I'm going to play it, but we'll see where this number goes, see what the lineup looks like. And maybe PSG is having a forward crisis yet again. For my best bet in French Ligue 1, I will go Havre Nantes under 2.25 goals, as that number just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, side or total. Last but not least, the German Bundesliga, and we'll get an ultimate best bet out of here and then blast all this across social media channels at the @real_G Warner, betting the pitch and Apple Podcast and on Spotify. We'll start with TSG Hoffenheim hosting RB Leipzig. Currently, Hoffenheim, a pick'em, all the juice in Leipzig away. Total is 3.5, juice pretty heavily to under right now. And I think I'd only really want to back Leipzig here. I've been really impressed with how they've played despite selling off a ton of players. Hoffenheim have been horrible at home, have no home field advantage. Expect more Leipzig crowd there potentially than Hoffenheim. Probably not realistic, but I mean, at least maybe a noise capacity or something like that. No real feel for the total. I think we see goals, so that's not really my style. Take that one, Joe Dollar. That's for you. Next, we'll go to Union Berlin hosting Bayern München. Currently, Union, a 1.75 goal underdog, all the juice on Bayern away. I expect this number to move to 2. I'm not sure that means it's enough for me to play it, though. Union have been scoring more goals this season, have not been defending very well. That's a bad setup for Bayern, though they're coming off Champions League midweek, and that certainly helps. Bayern are just so strong, so deep, all those sort of things. Union's going to have a great atmosphere, and I need to get there someday for a Spieltag, but I don't know. Certainly not this one. Next to Leverkusen, they're 1.25 goal favorites at home to Heidenheim. Total is 3, just all the way to over. And I've really not fond memories of backing Heidenheim. I think it's 2.25 goal underdogs, leading 2-0 in the stadium. I want to say last season, lost 5-2 to really just make me want to jump off a balcony, but don't recommend that, especially with the sad things that have gone on in Dallas this week. I think Heidenheim are a big underdog and they deserve to be. There's not a lot for me here. I haven't been great in the Bundesliga so far this season. I feel like I've deserved better. I think I'm going to skip that one. We'll move to Hamburg hosting Borussia Dortmund, and I'll say Hamburg because the H is silent. Hamburg are 3/4 goal underdogs with all the juice. Total is 3.25, just all the way to under. So Borussia Dortmund coming off a trip to Man City midweek. I mean, if there's ever a time to not show up against a really raucous and tough crowd in a tough environment, could be here. Dortmund have to take home a lopsided win across the country, or at least south, because Hamburg's at the northern tip of Germany. But I think at this point, they've looked like they are a Bundesliga side now. It took them a little while to get there, to say the least. But lean to the home underdog. In all Dortmund Bundesliga matches, I have no interest in under, so I'll skip that one. And to the top spiel, we have Borussia Mönchengladbach hosting FC Köln in a big Rhineland or Rhine derby. Gladbach have been horrible. They've sacked their manager, their sporting director, brought in a youth team coach, and kept him around for far too long. And they're favored against Köln because they're at home. I think that's enough for me to back Cologne here. It's not an easy thing, especially against a big rival, and you could see a very, very charged crowd, though the Cologne supporters will certainly be in that little sectioned off section. Cologne quarter goal underdog, my biggest interest there. Moving to Sunday, FC Freiburg hosting St. Pauli. Currently Freiburg, a half a goal favorite with all the juice, totals 2.5, juiced all the way to under. So I don't know that I've had as much success with St. Pauli this season. I really liked their maturity and kind of how they've moved from a team that could not score but stayed in the Bundesliga to a team that's trying to score more. But there's been some growing pains, and going on the road to Freiburg is tough. The nice part is St. Pauli didn't play midweek. Freiburg were on the road at Nice, I want to say. So St. Pauli in better shape energy-wise. I lean to the half of a goal and under 2.5, but I want to see what Freiburg puts out there. I'm still not really a believer in the Freiburg offense, but they seem to find goals, and Julian Schuster seems to be taking over for Christian Streich without missing much of a beat at this point. VfB Stuttgart coming off their Europa League. They are hosting Football Club Augsburg. Currently, Stuttgart, a 1-goal favorite with all the juice, totals 3, just pretty heavily to over right now. Augsburg are tough to back away from home. I do like the full goal of insurance. I'll lean to that, but it's probably not more than a lean because they looked horrible in a match against RB Leipzig, and I do feel like they might have some real trouble without Jeffrey Hoaleu. I'm not sure if he's back yet. We'll see with lineups on Sunday morning. Stuttgart are pretty strong. Undav returned this week, or at least was starting in Europa League midweek. So it's a dangerous game for Augsburg on the road. Last but not least, before we get to ultimate best bet, thanks to those of you that have come in and watched live, and those of you that, of course, are watching. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, be huge for the search rankings. Leave a comment, question. I'll have a co-host of mine read it, or I will if it's soccer related. NFL with _Snickers out there. I need to finish. Stop plugging. We still got one game to go. Eintracht Frankfurt, half a goal favorite at home to Mainz 05. Total is 3, just more to the over, and more juice on Eintracht at home. Mines are off my list. They're an intensity team, and they're playing in the Conference League, and that is zapping their energy and intensity. So they honestly, to me, could be a relegation contender down the stretch this season. We'll see if that happens. Frankfurt have not defended at all. If there's ever going to be an over to put on the list, it is this one. It is Mainz 05, Eintracht Frankfurt over 3. There you are, Joe Dollar. 1, and it only took you to the last game on the card for us to discuss. But for an ultimate best bet in the Bundesliga, I think Hamburg is a 3/4 goal underdog. It's my biggest interest there. So that is the podcast, but you're sticking around for an ultimate best bet, which I will certainly be giving out. I want to check to make sure that everything is still working sound wise. Looks like it is in the live feed. If you are not a member of my Patreon, check it out. Patreon.com/real_G Warner. All my plays across all sports. I got a big NFL card coming up this weekend, and I'm looking forward to that. NFL podcast with _Schnicker was out this week. Recorded Wednesday night, covered 6-7 games, of course, of the NFL season. My best bets have been horrible, but I think the regular season has been much better because it can't be worse. But it's been a good run so far this season. Always fun to do it with my guy, Andrew Schnicker, _Schnicker on Twitter. So go check him out if you haven't already. So a summary, my best bets from across the various leagues. In England, we like Burnley under 2.5 goals. In La Liga in Spain, like Espanyol, a pick'em. In Serie A in Italy, the Derby della Mole, I believe. The chocolate, we like Torino under 2.25 goals at Juventus. In Liga in France, we like Nantes, 2.25 goal underdog. Half a goal underdog, but under 2.25 in that matchup. And the German Bundesliga, we like Hamburg, a 3/4 goal underdog at home. But for the ultimate best bet on this episode, I'm betting against West Ham scoring goals. So under 2.5 for me, Burnley visiting West Ham. I don't really think we might not even see one. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for suffering through my nasally voice. Hopefully that was okay. You got some of the detail you needed. And if you need anything more, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, everywhere you can find it at @real_G Warner. Horrible handle, but I picked it in 2009. So what can you do?
Recording stopped.